Paul, after a very, I wouldn't even say slow start, a disappointing start to be 3-0 down, to come back and win it the way we did. Just a bit of great character, but would you obviously be disappointed conceding 4 goals today? But it was just one of those games where you just don't know where it was going to go.
Well, that's it. We didn't start very well. Not making excuses, but we did have 9 changes, which does affect the rhythm.
Of course.
So some players are leading games and they're settling in and they're getting up to the speed of the game, or not getting up to the speed of the game as it was. And 1 or 2 struggled, if I'm to be honest with you. But listen, some of them haven't played. Kyle Flynn hasn't played much football in the first team. The others, Justy Grattan, Liam Toman's been in and out. So it was difficult for them, particularly against the determined Newington team, trying to avoid relegation. You know, a very proud team, very committed to their cause. I admire them for their effort and their fight for each other. So listen, they went 3 up quite comfortably, and that was a concern. And then the fact when they hit the post, they make it 4.
We ran up and scored.
And we went up and scored. Was the defining moment in the game. In fairness, that changed it then.
Well, that's it. I mean, the start was horrible. I mean, we didn't defend very well. I mean, young Max was in nets today for Michael. He seemed a bit frustrated too as well. Obviously, his first appearance today between the sticks. He made a lot of changes, but again, it just shows you the great character and depth we'll have in the squad. They obviously made those changes for the second half and obviously came out and took control of the game. Obviously, we conceded 1 more, but it was just one of those games where, again, as I said at the start of the interview, you just don't know where it was going to go, and it was kind of frustrating. Would you say it from your perspective, being at the side of the pitch, and you knew Newington were going to come here today and they were going to battle because they are obviously fighting for their lives.
100%. Listen, we are comfortable. There's no question about it at table, but players are playing for positions and contracts next year. And in fairness, as this is with Kyle Flynn in particular, you know, 2 or 3 of the goals came down that side. I quite like Kyle as a player. He's got a good left foot, he's got good pedigree, but he needs to start learning how to be a championship player. We've been spoiled, in fairness, with James McCarthy's performances this season, and
he did miss him today, would you say?
Well, he's outstanding. He's been one of our best players, so we did miss that. So listen, Kyle's a good player, I like him, but we didn't defend well collectively. We were too lethargic. We weren't around the play quick enough in the first half hour, and in fairness saying, Matthew's goal gave us a bit of a lift, and then Boobs has scored a goal a minute later.
What a goal. And
then we actually scored 4 goals
in as many minutes?
In 6 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so we scored 2 either side of half time, and then 2 4 minutes either side of half, or the new half. So so they scored 4 goals in that way. And listen, we had good ascendancy then, and we're capable of doing that. I think the team changed and the dynamic changed, and goals do change matches, no question, but the mood was good, and I think bringing on James McClay and Josh at half time made a difference to our offensive momentum. Yeah. And McClay took his goal really well.
The top 2 up top play, Michael and Matthew, were a bit frustrated. Obviously they didn't do very much first half, but Matthew got his hat trick. Michael, body language, you could kind of see he was a wee bit frustrated. I was talking to you briefly here, and you were saying about he should have had a penalty. Would you say that he should have had the penalty?
Well, he was pulled back in the box and he got frustrated with it. But in fairness, we didn't get the ball on them quick enough in the first half. We played too much in the midfield. Now we've been working on that a lot, but we told them at the start we knew they were going to press us. So he beat the press by passing the forward players or the 10 or the wide players, and we didn't do enough passing. And the strikers weren't involved enough. It wasn't really their fault. So because they are effective when we get balls in them, because they can wrestle, duel, keep the ball in. And then second half we decided to do a wee bit more, and that's what changed the momentum. Obviously the goal, they bring it back to 3 each with James, has made that difference. And then Spike scoring so quickly gives us real momentum, and then they score the 5th. I thought the game should have been dead then, but we let them back in the game by a wee bit of naive defending, and that made it an interesting 10 minutes. But listen, there's 9 goals. It's the end of the season game. I'm sure people has come here, they would have been entertained other than Newington officials, but as I says, it's been a good day for us.
Yeah, we've got 2 more games left, Ballymallard next week, and then obviously the last game here against Knockbreda. Will there be more changes next week in the squad again?
No, listen, we've got a squad of 24 players, I think, at the minute, and I'm keeping an eye around that. We'll be putting out a strong team. Obviously, us 2 are dueling for 7th, so we want to finish 7th, so we'll be going there. I've given everybody, I promised for these 3 games, the Derryview Institute and Newington game, that everybody would get game time to some level, either starting or coming on, and that's what I've done. So it'll be back to porridge next week, picking whoever I think's the strongest team through training. Like with boys trained really well last week, for example, and weren't playing then today because, as I says, we wanted to give people game time, and that's what we did. But as I says, there was always a risk with that, and I would take a hit now. But I want to be fair to the players as well. The players have been excellent this year, and I wanted to get them games, and so it lets them see where they're at, and lets us see where they're at. And as I says, we've got a healthy group.